Trump just wants to connect with a spirit that is good. He needs that energy. He's the opposite of a vampire. So the next question.
The next question is by Bucks 2001. Says, Mr. Jones, in 2015, you scored bombshell interviews with Donald Trump and Matt Drudge. Can you reveal how you landed those interviews? And also, do you plan to interview either Trump or Drudge in 2017? How'd you score?
What was the first person?
How did you score the interviews with Drudge and Trump?
They both came to me.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, it's not about who I am. It's not that. Anybody that's tuned in knows this is a zeitgeist. And I don't say that on some power trip. It's actually, we have squandered this, Buckley. We have not done what we're supposed to do. I feel like I'm a failure. They came to us, and it's just like they have this article, as I said in one speech, I'm sorry I missed Trump's call. I know the numbers. I know when he calls. He calls like 3 times in a row. I was on air. He gets confused. He called me, and I missed the calls, and I just feel guilty because who knows what it was about. And I know Trump doesn't, and I'll tell the enemy this, because they know what Trump knows is true. They need to know this. Trump just wants to connect with a spirit that is good. He needs that energy. He's the opposite of a vampire. He needs to go to that rally. This isn't talk, folks. This is what it is. He needs to talk to people. He needs me. He needs his wife. He needs that. And that's why the enemy's coming against that. They make jokes about it. It doesn't matter. And he's surrounded by all these people. He brings them in and he goes, I have all the economists. We've totally screwed America over. How did we do this? Let's just give America a little money. And they say, no, America's not allowed to have anything. And then Trump comes out and says, all we're doing is turning the coal power plants on. Europe doesn't do it. We don't do it. They're clean. This is why our power prices are high. It's why he's calling people. They go, sir, the power's 3 times cheaper in India and Mexico and China. We can't go there. And he goes, I'll fix that. He goes, I promise. He's on the phone with the CEOs. And he tells them, I'll fix it. I'll fix it. He's out there. He's like, he doesn't even, he knows bad people, but he's so innocent. It's like Trump's really innocent. I don't mean that condescendingly. He just can't believe. He's like, Goldman Sachs, I'll get you even more money. Just get off their back. And it's sophisticated. And that's why they hate the fact that Trump, every night for hours, goes around, he listens to like Rush Limbaugh and me, and he goes to Drudge, and he goes to Breitbart, obviously, and then Previs and them go, sir, sleep, because they can't, they're a bunch of lazy people. They can't stand what they're doing. And then he's there. But it doesn't matter. Trump already knows where his audience was. We're not trying to get Trump. Trump is just a focal point of someone that's not a pedophile, who's not out to get you. And then you've got all these sellouts and all these scumbags and all this filth that just think that we're there. And imagine a scumbag looking at a family out of their little creeper van, metaphysically, and they hate the dad, they hate the mom, they hate the happy kids hopping up and down because they don't have that. And they want to get you out of the way and metaphysically take their time with your kids, which the public schools do. And if a public school teacher comes out and admits she supported Trump, they fire her, like today. And if we would support Trump, they kick us off, and we lose $5 million yesterday. And they just sit there and laugh at us like they're ruling over us, and like they, and bankrupting Russia and Europe and making the middle class poor. But let me tell you, Japanese aren't perfect. They're tired of this. They want prosperity. They've been doing what the U.S. says. They're ready for prosperity. The Chinese want it too. I'm not against anybody what color they are. They have to resonate with the truth and understand. This isn't talk, people. You think I told you before the election they're going to round up pedophiles nationwide? They're going to start in California and Pennsylvania, and it happened, and now they arrested thousands? You think I'm playing freaking games? You think I talked to the Easter Bunny, baby? This is real, okay? This isn't a game. There's a reason we're doing this, because there aren't many people that can handle the level of satanic attack that happens when you do this stuff, okay? It just rolls right off me. Everybody else around me gets burned alive by it. And I'm not bragging. The point is, I am made to go after these people. I know who they are. I know who they serve, and we're going to get them. But if you will simply activate and take action, there are men and women who have black skin and brown skin and red skin and white skin. Don't give me some political, oh, red skin. Oh, my God, I love it when I got red skin. I'm a red skin, more red skin than you are. Ain't many Comanches walking around nowadays. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, is that I want to defeat these people. And you have to believe you're real. You have to believe I'm real. And you have to take that action and ask God for the directives to defeat these people. There are men and women across this world in Africa and in Eurasia and in North America and in South America and in Central America and in the islands of the Pacific and in Australia. They have the force and the will and the commitment for human destiny. But you have to stand for what's true and be ridiculed and be laughed at. And once you've done it a few times, it's a joke and you're free. It's like a bird out of a cage. Once you enter that fulcrum, once you escape thinking what other people care, say about you, you're free. And so that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm telling you. And you have to realize that and do it. And I know many of you already get that. Then be leaders. Don't get involved in the infighting. Don't get involved in all the side BS. Take action for your love of humanity. And I'll tell you, the only thing you're going to have a problem with is you're going to be so high, so awake, so connected, so dialed in, so discerning that you're going to not know what to do. Again, that's consciousness. We're like Ulysses after 20 years at sea, returning home to the enemies that have captured his family stronghold, and we're here to restore order and point this species towards the star and give our little egglings, our little hatchlings, a chance to be what they were supposed to be and not have a bunch of vampires feed on our substance and convince us we're nobody and convince us we're their slaves. Next question.
Landino Soup says, hi, Alex. Back in the year 2000, Microsoft was investigated by the Justice Department for monopolistic practices. Monopolistic practices. All because they published a single internet browser. The result was Microsoft being heavily restricted with government bureaucrats regulating what Microsoft did for years. While extreme today, we currently have huge oligarchies in the corporate world that are complete monstrosities compared to what Microsoft did. These include Facebook, Twitter, Google, Amazon, Apple, Reddit, etc. Trump has actually fought monopolistic practices, took on and sued the NFL and made them admit that they were a monopoly, but nothing really came of it after that. He definitely has a vendetta against these practices. Do you think the Trump administration will take action against these massive companies impugning on our free speech and right to free choice and competition? If he does, how will his administration take them on?
Well, we could spend 10 hours on that question because it's so deep. Bill Gates did all that antitrust stuff on purpose. IBM was the shadow government in the United States and Germany. And they let the Germans in to convince them through British intelligence. This is all actually in best-selling books. I mean, this is declassified. And again, I say all this. This is not my opinion. This is not conspiracy theory. They had envisioned computer systems in the 1850s, and by the 1815 or so, or 1915, well, it's a complex answer. They had developed computer systems that were meant to track populations and human calories and controlling populations. They sent Thomas Watson, who ended up living for more than a decade in Germany, including part of World War II. This is all, you can Google Thomas Watson and Hitler, the owner of IBM, to establish a system to try to control humans through computers. And so you ask about Microsoft, they had major laws then and antitrust laws in place since 1906 and the Sherman Antitrust Act. And so they were sophisticated and they basically gave the brain trust. They made IBM about the computers, but they knew the computer wasn't anything, it was a box. The operating system was given to Microsoft that was actually a DARPA front group. And this is all actually in the news. You can go read, this is all there. It's what's crazy. And so Bill Gates' father was the head of the Army's covert testing and eugenics program. And he was a clandestine officer. His rank, everything was secret. He was sheep-dipped. And then if you expand onto that, he was actually the head of Planned Parenthood. He was the chairman. He wasn't the public head. And so they were eugenicists. You can say all that's good, get rid of the minorities or whatever. But the point is, because you're liberal, you kill all the brown people. But if you're a white guy like me that don't want to do it, you're racist. But that's why it's all insane. They went and funded the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute with money from the OSS and also Army intelligence. And he was the head guy that funded all that. And all they knew was they had advanced schematics that had been imagined by Galton and Wedgwood and Huxley and Darwin in 1855. They did an advanced interbreeding program and all the rest of it, and they had envisioned all this so They had given it to the military, so the British military and the U.S. military was supposed to build this. And they're like, this is insane, what are we doing? But it actually got built. So whatever knowledge they got from over the other side, from old Beelzebub, and this is actually history books. I mean, don't believe me if you're mainstream news, don't just write an article making fun of us. Go look it up. And so they were then able to start constructing this, but because there were monopolies in place and there were monopoly laws in place, Microsoft had to become the new front company, so there was a monopoly with IBM having the computers and the operating systems. And they were tax-free, tax-exempt, with the directive to take over the world and basically engage in this whole program. So you ask, how is Google, set up by In-Q-Tel and the CIA, with NS? Google is, when it was set up in 1997, it's only like 18, 19 years old, it was set up as a search engine the NSA already had for keywords and data where they would transcript all the phone calls and communicate. And they said, this is easy for searchability. Just apply this to the internet that's being set up and through databases we set up in front of the telecom hubs. This is all admitted now. We talked about 20 years ago, people didn't believe it. So it's really old news. And so that's how they ran this stuff through, and that's how they set all this up. So Twitter, Facebook, Apple, Google, its subsidiaries, all of these are people wanting to make money and run their lives and be people at the lower subsidiaries. But at the top, they're all, and this has actually come out in white papers. Bill Joy's written about it in Wired, 16 years ago, and others have, Why the Future Doesn't Need Us. They admit that, and it's kind of true. I mean, the public is dumbed down, wants to watch football, wants to just eat food and not work, isn't even involved in this. And I've been told, and I say this, and I'm not involved with these people, but I've been told by a banking head and other people, they said, Alex, it's very sad you've taken this course. They're not going to listen, but we kind of metaphysically believe it's your job to tell them all this is happening so that we have the right to do this to them. So they know vaccines have got cancer viruses and have liability protection. So they know that they're putting glyphosate in the water. So they know you're killing you. So you know, and so you've kind of been told. And so I guess from their delusional perspective, but I believe in humanity. That's why they're so freaked out. Trump was supposed to lose. They had TV shows lined up showing he would lose, Madam President, all this demonization. He was supposed to lose, and we were supposed to be a joke, and I was supposed to be the example for ending free pests to be destroyed. That didn't happen. So now they've got to intimidate Trump, shut the whole thing down. And again, people say, well, why don't you tell us about these meetings you've had? Well, I mean, Buckley, you've been here when some of the top Hollywood producers come. They're not bad people. They don't like what's happening. I mean, we're talking about people that make $200 million of productions a year. That's conservative. I mean, producers bigger than Chris Carter, who admits that he thinks I'm a great guy. I'm not bragging. The point is the truth. And his new X-Files is based on me to warn people. They said, oh, you got top ratings. Maybe no new series, Chris. All his gravitas, and he can't get a series out because it's not anti-liberty. See? You understand how that works? And so top producers come and they say, yeah, we'll have all our funding and no production cutoff. They ask me, what do we do? And I say, all I can do is interface with the public and defend internet freedom. I can't help you. I'm sorry. I'm not disrespecting you. I can't help you. They're like, what do we do? I say, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Well, we've got $100 million waiting for you, and we want you to come to this event and meet with us. Yoko Ono asked me to do that. Sean Lennon, I'm saying these names now. I can't do it. I just can't go meet with top, shaman that are battling the Illuminati. They're top advisors to world royalty 6-7 years ago, because that's all part of the same thing. I'm not saying Yoko Ono's bad. It's that she went to the meetings and didn't even care who I was with Sean Lennon and other people, Madonna, all of them, and they said, we must have Alex Jones because Alex Jones is going to overthrow this whole thing. And it wasn't about me. It was the simple spirit that I wouldn't be part of their system. So it's not that Hollywood's bad. They're leaderless. They're bullied by like 95-year-old or whatever it is. How old Sumner Redstone? I've been there when they're about to put the film out. And Mark Cuban calls up on the speakerphone and goes, I just got threatened. They're going to indict me for Securities and Exchange Commission. We're talking about putting out your film on 1,000 screens. Loose Change, second edition. And it's not like I have to talk about Hollywood like we've just arrived or something. It's that's the point. People go through that. And then they went after Mark Cuban. He released the emails. He released the phone records where they threatened him. And they finally dropped him. He rolled over, though. And don't blame Mark. I get it. He's got billions of dollars. Enjoy yourself. You're now scared to go after Trump. It's that this isn't trying to impress you, folks. This is the real world. I had the head of the Democratic Party in Texas call me in 1996 and say, come meet with me. This is where Buckley had helped me get started, but he wouldn't even work with me then. And I went and met at a steakhouse with the head of the Democratic Party, and they said, Lee, you got a lot of talent. We can run you for office. Stop attacking the Clintons. We want to see you go on air tomorrow night on Access TV. Wasn't even on radio yet. It's like 96, 97. It's on Race Radio 96, so I was on 96. And they call up and they go, you son of a bitch, we're going to kill you. How dare you talk about him and the Communist Chinese? Join us. And I don't say that to act tough. This is what I've already done to get here, to reach 40, 50 million people a week for real, to not sell out. Everybody else got that call. They said, we'll go to D.C. You're going to meet with the president. It's going to be great. You're going to be a big star, Alex. The president wants to meet with you. I know other conservative top news bloggers that got that call, and they went and they had that meeting. And they make $100 million a year profit. It's not Drudge. He didn't do it. Drudge said, hell no. That's why Drudge is in hiding. Almost everyone else bowed to that. Now, let me explain something. $100 million a year that a certain person has been paid for a decade for backing off the Clintons. $100 million. That is like rat shit to me. People are, oh, God, that's a lot of money. Yeah, I can have a lot of Bentleys and a lot of jerks that don't love me and be around a bunch of fake people. I'm telling you all this because this is Ask Me Anything. This doesn't impress you. This is Truth Hour. This is where we are. This is because the hammer's coming down. This is a skyfall. This is the end of my work, potentially. Waves are coming in that I recognize are the end of who I am. But that's okay. As long as you know that we're not going to submit to these people, you live on and have great victories. I will never be a minion of these sacks of evil. I will never submit to them to hurt innocents. These selfish, demonic creatures that are sold out to everything wicked. We don't want to be with them. We want to be with families and babies and feast and life and the stars and Valhalla and goodness and honor and strength. We don't want to be with people that work against humanity. We want to be where life is. And so, I remember a pastor once told me, not at church, but a fellow I knew, he said, you know, Christ said, what would you give your whole soul? You know, to be given this world, what would you do? And you're like, oh, well, I'll give my soul for that. Your soul's your whole being. To be in some mansion or to strut around and have a bunch of empty people think you're God, that's a torture. But see, the average person feels weak. That means everything to them. Even if they're not evil, it's acceptance. True godliness is not caring what the world thinks. But so many people that are godly are so removed from the world, they don't even know how to see the world. And it takes fallen people like me to be able to see it and understand it. But if you sit there and you look into this and you study this, you realize it's all a mind trick, that anybody that actually had knowledge of this would never join with this. What we're offered, what we potentially can have, isn't just life extension in this body. You'll be so ascendant, you'll already be dead by the minute you become conscious. You were already there. You won't even care anymore about this body. That's what's so sad. The whole universe, God is waiting for you. Because God's free will. God's not like the devil. God's not going to twist you or lie to you. The enemy's going to set up churches that say they're God to mislead you. God's waiting right now. But you've just got to have the free will to join God and say, I want justice. I want to be pure. I want to be strong. And then it is eternity. But God can't make creatures and not give them free will. God can't make slaves. The devil turns God's children into slaves. God's waiting right now for you, ready for you to accept eternity, ready for you to step into all the promises and all the great work that has to be done. God's there. waiting with his hand out right now. And the enemy wants to steal that from you. They sold out everything they were for power during this 10-second joke that is this test. You don't want to be with them forever. God doesn't put you in hell. You choose to be with these people. That their ultimate power is grabbing a kid out of their backyard and taking them in some dungeon and scaring the hell out of them for a couple of days. And do the most horrible crap they can because it freaks out these evil people so much to rebel against God as they bounce off the walls of eternity that they believe this must be power because they could do stuff like this when all they're doing is vandalizing their very soul. They're not hurting those innocents. God protects their souls the instant they're in the clutches of the spider. And all the enemy drinks in, believing his power, is damnation and hell. The truth is, I've seen in, through, and beyond. And everybody else can see it as well. And they know all these Chris Hedges and all these cowards and all these sad, fallen people that laugh at this and think this is a joke. These are people we lost. So stop feeling like you're a failure because you're not driving the newest car, or you're not wearing a Rolex on your arm, or because other men sit there and giggle and look down on you when you walk past them. None of that matters. I wear a blue sports coat and a Rolex because it's a symbol of middle class and humanity having prosperity and promoting human prosperity from a perspective of empowering humanity and stealing the image of a man in a sports jacket with a Rolex that is the satanic image. So I dress as a Satanist so that I can enter their world and show you that none of it means anything. It's your soul, not a Rolex, that has value. It's your soul, not if you've got these crazy rich people with all their Botox and their things trying to look sexy and young and trying to be powerful when they're the ugliest people I ever seen. Totally alone, without God forever. That's why I have no fear.
In case you haven't heard, InfoWars has become the most influential media outlet in America. We're making freedom go viral. And now we are proud to announce a new weapon in the epic battle against the globalists. InfoWars Prime, where you can watch live high-definition feeds of The Alex Jones Show, plus exclusive insider videos from the InfoWars crew and behind-the-scenes action. Go to Infowars.com/app and download today. InfoWars Prime is available right now for your iPhone or Android. You will have access to exclusive videos that you can't see anywhere else. And that means live coverage of events and breaking news on location as it happens. You can also take advantage of amazing deals from the InfoWars store that are only available for InfoWars Prime subscribers. That's InfoWars Prime at Infowars.com/app. And if you can hear my voice, you are the resistance.